Hello and welcome. This is just a brief tutorial of the Dreamcatcher website and the Write-in-3D template. As you can see, you're on the About Us page, which just has a brief description of the mission and the idea, and then what is a Dreamcatcher book. And you can read through that at your leisure, but for the minute we want to concentrate on the video content here, and we're just going to show you the template itself and a book that we've created. It's just a sample book, and for the purposes of demonstration it's a children's book. So I'm going to go over to books here, as you can see, and the very first chapter in that is something called My Dream. And then we just chose dreams because I guess it's a typical example of something that can go in any direction. But you can see the dream there starts, and there's a bit of a storyline following, and as you go down through the page you can stick in some images, and the basic idea is as you get to the bottom of the page there are 4 options. So the story, I won't bore you by reading the whole thing, but the click below to tell the dragon where to fly next. So in the dream the boy encounters a dragon, and now the dragon is offering to bring him to the next land. So he can either go to the battle, to the new friend, the holiday, or he can go home again. So if he was, for example, to choose new friend, bang, he clicks that and the child's in control of the storyline. Equally, as you go through the story, you can see some of the characters' names are highlighted. So again, the child can choose to go to a page. It can click dragon and it'll bring him back to the story about dragon, or if he clicked Eclipse it will bring him to a little bit more information about the character Eclipse in the storyline. So it follows on, and then, you know, equally the child could have picked battle, and he can navigate the story any which way they feel, but it's a way of kind of dragging the reader into the storyline and allowing them to navigate through the chapters of the individual story. Now over here we have books, but these equally could be chapters, and this could be, let's say, 8 chapters of one book, or you could have but for the purposes of this we've done it, we've broken it up into chapters. So as the child goes through the dream, he can navigate through that particular aspect of the story, but equally each of these individual stories, like My Family, My Dream, My School, have links built into them so that they're all webbed together, and the story is fully interactive. So for example, in My Toys, you can see part of the storyline here has the Hulk. So as you go into My Toys, there's the Hulk, and you can create links within that to the different characters. So if this story, it starts off about his toys, and then he can pick which toy he wants to go, which story of which toy he wants. Does he want the Batman story? Does he want the Hulk story or Spider-Man story? And for example, if it mentions in this that my mom likes to play board games with us and dad plays football. So for example, if he hits mom, it brings him into the My Family story, and you can see this part of the book over here. So it's all just neatly webbed together. Now this is just for illustrative purposes, so that a writer can link a story and allow the reader to navigate that story any which way they choose. This equally could be an adult storyline, and you could imagine the spine of the story being maybe a bit more linear, but having aspects of that story where you can deviate out, follow a different timeline or a different perspective, or a different character's point of view. So the possibilities really are endless with that. So here are the 4 members of the family, and again, as you go through it, you can link to other names. It's very simple stuff, but you know, it just shows what's possible, rather than just having a PDF of a book and copying those pages across and calling that an ebook. Why not create an ebook which uses the aspects of web? Now if you just look over here to the left hand side, the design of the page is such that we've created a little bit of text over here. That could be an excerpt typically in a book, but for the purposes of this, it's instructions, and it tells you can download a sample HTML and CSS file. So if you hit that, it brings you straight to the HTML for this page. Equally, the CSS is here. So if somebody wants to create or tinker around with this and create their own book, the facility is there to do so. If they want to just change the HTML file, they can send that book to me and I'll host it here in our archive of more stories. Or if they want to create their own book with different stylings, they can create a CSS, change the CSS file any which way they choose, create a new HTML, and they can send that over, and I'll link to this on this site. So that's typically how it works. Just one other aspect, My School, and just to show some of the other functionality that can be used here. For example, this is taken directly from Evan, that's my son, his school reader. So this is the text from his school reader. I've just changed the names to represent people that he might know. So his own, instead of the girl in the story, I'm using his sister Layla and his own name. But other than that, the story is the exact same. Again, I've built in links, so if I hit toys, it can bring him to this toys page, but also he can fill in the sentence. So his favourite toy is, and just for a little bit of interaction, he can say Spider-Man. And there you go. So it's just to bring, there's loads of little tricks and nuances that are part of normal simple things that are used on websites throughout, but books that haven't really adopted them, even though the books are moving across to an e format. They haven't really adopted all of the little tricks that can be used, and if you just look here, so that's his reader. He can go in and do his maths homework here. So 3 + 1 = 4, and just to give him the answer, there you go, there's 4. So if he wants to, instead of, just for a little bit of interaction, bring them into it, 5 + 1 is, and he can just say 6 and update, and he has his answer there. And if he just clicks 5 + 1 is 6, yep, there it is, there's the number 6. So there's very little simple things that it applies to a child's book, but there are many different applications that this can be used for in fiction and non-fiction type books. But if you have, again, this is just other maths problems, and you have, if I have 3 apples and I buy 2 more apples, how many apples do I have? And there you have 4 apples. So or 3 and 1 is 4, for example. So and that's just the way little tricks that can be used. Are also in the sounds aspect here. I'll just click in here, and you can see there's A is for ant, B is for bat, and these will link to the pictures as well. But also I've built in the sounds. So if we just click OK here, and again, each of the sounds has its own little video that the child can play for themselves. And you can imagine, this is just proof of concept stuff, but for any other type of book, you could have sound effects built into the books, and this is just you could have video content, which we have on our about page, which you've seen already, and that's what you're viewing right now. So you can build video content, you can build sound content, you can build images in there. And the linking can be spidered off in any direction, and someone can build their own book. But we have a little competition that we've built here as well, and that is to allow someone to write the next chapter of a book. So here's chapter 1, and someone else can submit chapter 2. We have a little competition at the end of every month, and at the end of 12 months we have a 12-month book with 12 different authors. And you can imagine the possibilities here of having multiple authors to one book, and stories spidering off in all sorts of directions. And that's just the concept that's behind this, and I've just built that as a competition. Again, just a proof of concept type of item. It needs to be developed further, but it is there, and it's there to be used. Again, in the blog section, so we can create our own blog. This is a Dreamcatcher blog, and it's just a little bit of information about the site. And we can link that to our Twitter or our Facebook accounts, and I'll just click in there, and that'll take me to Dreamcatcher's Twitter account, and you can post that up there and drive readers to your site, or writers for that matter. So that's just a quick flavour of what can be done here, and it's just one sample book for the moment, but I would invite anybody who wants to submit chapters, or they want to submit content, or they want to create their own book, just go in here to the Contact Us section and it'll give you the instructions. Thank you.